Well, good morning. Good morning. We are glad that you're here. This is Gerard Moultrie coming to you live this morning from Fab News, and I'm here in the studio today. And I have a special guest with me today from Florence County Emergency Management, and that is by way of Deputy Director Crystal Birch. And I'm going to bring her on. And Mrs. Birch, we're so glad to have you this morning. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here at Fab News to just keep us informed. And before we even get into details, I want to say thank you for all that you guys do for keeping us safe here in Florence County. So I'm going to give you the flow and just kind of tell us what to expect with this storm out there brewing. What can we expect in Florence County?
Actually, the new update shows that the storm is going to move into our area beginning late this evening, early in the morning, and they're forecasting more rain, unfortunately. So now we're at the 4 to 8 inch range, depending on what part of the county you're in. For winds, they're now saying that we could possibly have some gusts into hurricane strength, which is not good news. So we want everyone to today complete their plans, make sure they have all their preparations done, have all of their shopping, medications, food, anything that they need. Make sure all of that is completed and get home, get safe, and hunker down until the storm moves through.
So I understand you're saying that there are going to be great winds and lots of rain. And you're telling people right now that they should go ahead and prepare. Is there kind of a cutoff that you would want to tell people, hey, you might want to be able to get this thing done by this hour and make sure that you're in place?
If I had to pick a time, I would say by the time the sun goes down today, have everything completed. You don't want to, even though the storm itself is not here, I know most people have noticed that it's very blustery, windy today. So we want to go ahead and get everybody off the roads, get home, get everything out of the yard that can blow around, and make sure that you're in the house and ready to go. I would say by nightfall.
Okay. And I understand, if I'm told right, some other media outlet told me that the governor did declare a state of emergency already. And I'm not really sure. I hadn't seen it, but I'm asking you. Is it the fact that the governor did declare a state of emergency?
He did yesterday afternoon. Hmm.
So tell us exactly, what does that mean when the governor declares a state of emergency when it comes for the weather side? I mean, what does that really mean?
So, for the state of South Carolina, whenever they declare a state of emergency, what that does is it allows the state to access some options in resources, such as the National Guard, things like that. So, in order to ask those units to come in and go to work, the governor has to do the state of emergency. And so that's what that does. It just allows some things to happen, some resources to be activated. Just like when the president declares a disaster for us, that makes different federal assets available. So that's the same thing with the governor. It's just some state assets are now available.
So I'm getting pictures in the news feed right now, even right now as we're talking. There is a lot of damage done in the Florida area, and it looks like a lot of wind, but there's a lot of rain. And you're telling me right now we can expect 4 to 8 inches of rain. That's a lot of water. Are we even prepared in Florence County for that kind of water?
We are prepared. Fortunately, unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of rain in the last few months, but fortunately, we didn't for us now. So our rivers and streams can absorb a lot of that. We should be okay if we receive that amount of rain in the next 24 to 48 hours. Obviously, there could be localized flash flooding. If we have a storm that dumps an inch an hour, then you're looking at the kind of water that they're getting down in Florida right now. And some of the destruction, the damage, and the water that we're seeing in those videos is actually from storm surge that's coming in. So it's raining and causing flash flooding, and they also had that storm surge moving into those areas as well.
So that's another question I want to ask you. What does that mean for Florence County if we get a whole bunch of storm surges?
So for storm surge, That's primarily on the coast. That's for your Georgetown, Horry, Charleston, Beaufort, all of that area. So the storm surge is the water that the storm pushes in with it as it makes landfall. But for us, we should not have any impacts from a storm surge.
Gotcha. So again, those of you who are just joining me, we have with us today Mrs. Krista Birch, who is the deputy director for Florence County Emergency Management, and we will be talking with several other emergency management throughout Dillon County, Robertson County, and so forth. Because this is what FAB do. We're Florence and Beyond News, and so certainly we want to bring the news to you firsthand. We wanted to talk to someone who actually knows firsthand and not get information from side people. So I thank you again, Ms. Christy Birch, who is our deputy director for here in Florence County. And now, as before we get ready to go, I know you have a busy day today with the storm coming. I want you to just recap again for those who join us. The things that you told them that maybe some necessities that they may want to get and the time frame that they may want to get off of the roads and try to do what they can to stay safe.
That would be the disaster supply kit, which would be batteries, battery operated phones. You want to charge those. You want your battery operated flashlights, battery operated weather radios. If you don't have a weather radio, you can get that information via the internet or on your cell phone. And you want to make sure you have non perishable items such as canned foods. And make sure that you have a handheld can opener versus an electric. All of us have the electric can openers. Make sure you have a handheld can opener for those cans, and just make sure you have all of your medication and those items that you're going to need for the next few days if you were to have to stay home and not go anywhere.
Okay. And just in case we don't get an opportunity to talk back to you, because the internet may be down and a whole lot of things may be going on in the midst of the storm. Although I will be out in the storm, I'm recording live, but just in case you're busy, after the storm and all of the water that we're going to get and it's going to be on the road, what are some things that you would tell the people to not do, particularly when it comes to driving through these waters and all these areas? I know in the last storm we had people moving barricades and
Yes.
really getting themselves in a lot of trouble moving those barricades. So I want you to just give them some safety tips, if you will, before you leave in terms of these waters and barricades and things that they should not be doing.
Absolutely, yes. The National Weather Service has a program. It's called Turn Around, Don't Drown, and follow that. Turn around when you see waters. Do not drive through them. Do not move barricades. Barricades are there for a reason, and it's not just because we want to make your life more difficult. We want to keep you safe. So if you see barricades, please don't move them, because while you may only go a few feet in to pull into a driveway, possibly, the person behind you doesn't know that those barricades were there, and then they drive even further, and then it could cause injury or death to people other than yourself. So think about that when you're messing with the barricades. We ask you, please leave those alone and stay off the roadways unless it's absolutely necessary. There will be power lines down, trees, tree limbs, and we don't want to add to the 911 calls based on people are just driving around looking, want to see what happened. Stay home until authorities tell you that it's safe to get out and about.
Are there going to be any curfews that we can
As
do?
of right now, we have no plans for curfews. No.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much, Ms. Birch, for joining me today, and we're going to sign off. Is there anything else you would like to tell them before you leave?
Just follow your local media so that you will get information such as this as to the current forecast and the current conditions that are going on in your area.
Again, thank you so much, and thank you for all that you guys do with Florence County Management.
No
Right
problem.
here, you have it live right here from Fab News. Again, we're in the studio with Florence County Emergency Management, and she have given us some information. She's telling us that we can expect sometime later on today that the weather is going to get very, very bad. She also told us to just stay safe and try to do all of the right things. Get your medicine, get your water, get your bread, get the things you need. Make sure that you have portable things that you need, so that you can have the things that you need to be able to survive this storm, just in case your lights and other issues go out. Again, thank you so much for joining us right here live on Fab News. This is Gerard Moultrie.